Thank you. So welcome back, guys. I hope I'm audible to every one of you. Can you all able to hear me?
Yes,
Anyone any
okay.
Excellent. Anyone any questions before I begin my session? What was the topic we discussed till date? Okay. Anyone any questions on that? Cool.
Shiva,
Silence, I'll take it as
Shiva, I have a question. I don't know whether it is applicable to this session or not. I just need a little brief discussion about, the differences between Java and JDK.
uh can I take this question a little late?
Sure, no problem.
No, let me take it right away. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. So JDK is nothing but Java Development Kit. What do I mean by Java Development Kit? Java Development Kit is nothing but, okay, as part of the programming, okay, as part of the writing the programs using the Java J2EE language, okay, what we need to do is that Java J2EE is also a programming language. So when I'm saying that Java is a programming language, we need a container. We need a server to do that. For that particular purpose, okay, we need to have a executable system called as in Java. This Java is available, okay, either in a Java development kit or in a runtime environment. But if you're trying to download the Java development kit along with the runtime environment, it gives couple of more additional set of features, okay, that a developer would be needing it. So Java is nothing but it's a container responsible to execute your code written using the Java J2EE programming language. Inside that, it is having the interpreter and compiler to run and compile your code. Just in time is a name, a technical name given to that, if I remember correctly. And JDK is nothing but JDK is the one that will have the Java inside it, and it is called a Java development kit, and it contains the necessary tools and the necessary files that are needed for the execution, for the development of your developer. JDK in turn contains the Java runtime environment. Clear?
Yeah.
Excellent. Anyone, any more questions before I begin the session here for today? Cool. Silence, I'll take it as no. So if no questions, okay, let me begin the session here quickly. I hope the screen is visible from the appearance point of view. Uh, Sunil, is Sunil the new person? Vasu, I see a new person by name Sunil.
Yeah, he's
Uh, yeah, I just joined today to just see how session is going on for Kirti. I joined on behalf of Kirti.
Oh, great. No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Yeah. So in our last session, what we discussed is that we discussed about what is a JBoss application server, what are the different ways of installing the JBoss application server. We did a quick lab on installation of the JBoss application server on the Windows operating system. And as part of the installation, I also told the different ways of installing the JBoss application server depending upon the type of operating system we have got. I told that we can do the installation using the GUI mode, we can do the installation using the console mode, we can do the installation using the auto.xml file, we can do the installation by using the em group install. I said that we can, if the installer is available in the form of a zip file, generally for the open source JBoss application server, this kind of a packaging format is being given. So if we have the installer as a zip file, just unzipping that, the installation would be done. So as part of the same discussion yesterday, we also talked about the prerequisites that are needed to do the installation of my JBoss application server. What was that? The first and the most important thing is to have the Java runtime environment or the JDK installed. So how do I try to validate that? As we discussed yesterday, in case of a Unix-based operating system, first say Java space hyphen version to know whether the Java is there or not. Once we are done with that, then simply say which Java. Which Java will give me the path where the Java is present, and this particular path should show us the JDK path. Okay, the JDK folder. It's not coming here, so that means to say that my Java isn't been configured properly as an environmental variable. So let's try to do that first before we try to kick off the installation of the JBoss application server. I remember copying the software here. So I don't think so it's here. Let me try to do a copy from my local machine. I'm pausing the screen wantedly just for a few minutes. I'm just trying to copy the JBoss software which is present on my local machine, as well as the JDK software which is present on my local machine. I'm pretty much sure you all must be knowing about this software called as WinSCP. So I'm not discussing anything about that. Okay, the simple software, you can just do a quick Google and download the software and give the IP and the port, give the IP of the Unix machine which you want to to which you want to transfer the files. So once you are done with that, go to the path on your Windows machine. Okay, you which the source files are there, just drag and drop them. That would be more than sufficient. Cool. So let me do a quick cleanup of my files. Just give me a minute. Cool. So I got my software inside the root folder. Okay. By default, not everyone and any one of us will have an access to the root folder. Okay. Since this is just a lab, since just a demo, so I just try to copy to the root folder. But ideally, in your real-time environment, whenever you try to log into the Unix machine, you try to log into the Unix machine using a predefined non-root user ID, which is in my scenario, I'm going to suggest for your reference, okay, which is Shiva in my case. Okay, so once you're logging to that, okay, this is how would be the path of your system. Clear? Not clear? So this is how your folder structure or a file structure will look like. Since this is just a lab, since this is just a demo, okay, I try to log in through the root, but ideally you should not do that. Cool. So the next thing is that I have my softwares. Where are my softwares present? My softwares are present here in the root folder. And this is a JDK tar file I have got. Okay, as I said yesterday, you can either download it from the internet, or if you don't have it, you can let me know. I can show the softwares to you. So this is the tar file which contains the JDK. Generally, okay, I try to keep this one inside the user folder, USR folder. Okay, it's not mandatory that we have to keep it in that particular folder. Whatever the path you want to extract this particular file, you can extract it. For example, let's say that I'm not explaining these commands, assuming that you already know this particular command. For any reason, if you don't know this particular command, please do let me know. I'll happy to help you all. Just to give you the real-time feel of the lab. So I'm just trying to change my login. And generally switch user you should not use okay, you should not use. As I said, when you try to log into the system, you'll be logging into the system with a certain user ID. Okay. So when I try to log into the system using a particular ID, okay, I try to log in with an ID called as in Shiva1. So now if you see here, I have my JDK software here. Now since I couldn't find the Java, okay, the JDK path in my system, now what is the thing I have to do? I have to extract this particular, download the JDK file from the Oracle, extract it and set it as an environmental variable. How do we do that? Simply say tar, since it's a tar file, which is like a zip file, just simply say tar-xvf and simply extract the file. Once you're done extracting the file, okay, as I said, you can extract it in any path you want, no problem, no restrictions on that. But what are the path you're trying to extract it, ensure that, okay, you have a complete permissions on that particular path. Like your JBoss application server, even the JDK also, it's a tar file, you're trying to unzip it. So whatever the path you want to unzip it, you can comfortably unzip that, okay. And but remember that on that particular path, you should have a complete admin privileges. So I try to extract it into my user home folder, okay, which is nothing but home Shiva1. Now once you're done extracting it, now you have to provide this particular path as an environmental variable. How do we do that? Can anyone help me to recollect that? Can anyone help me to recollect that?
Yeah, Shiva, you can set export Java underscore home to this
What is the
location.
file? What is the file I have to edit?
.bash rc or bash underscore profile, anyone.
What's the difference? I'm saying, of course, I didn't say answer to this question, but what's the difference between bash profile and bash RC?
Is for all the users and .bash profile is for the specific user.
Any other difference? Okay, can someone do a little R&D on what's the difference between bash RC and bash profile? What's the difference between them, and let me know the answer tomorrow. In the meanwhile, I'll try to edit this bash profile. Oh, great, it's already here. What is my Java home path? My Java home path is, this is my Java home path. This is where I got my JDK present. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to set Java underscore home. Okay. And giving the path. Then I'm trying to extract or append this particular value to my path variable. Path variable is a variable which contains the all the system related environmental variable settings. Okay. So I'm just trying to append the Java underscore home to that particular path. Once you're done doing that, okay, save this particular file. Okay, either you can try to log out and log in, or you can try to say source bash underscore profile. Either of them you can try to do. Either you can try to exit, log out and log in again so that the changes will be reflected, or you can try to run this particular command so that the changes will be updated automatically without you trying to log out and log in, just for your reference. Now say java space hyphen version to save the it's saying that cannot execute the file. Is it corrupted? Oh. I think there's some problem with this JDK software. 1 second. Let me get another JDK software. Give me a minute. I tried to get another JDK software, which is JDK 8. I think that my JDK 1.7 is corrupted. So I'm just trying to, without wasting the time on doing the troubleshooting, I just got another JDK version. Guess you're all able to understand what am I trying to do here? Anyone, any questions? Kirti, Rajareddy, Aditya, Sunil, if you're there.
We are fine, sure.
How about others? Is it clear to everyone what am I trying to do here?
Oh, yes, Shiva, it's clear.
Cool. So I have a problem with my JDK 1.7. Okay, I think it's corrupted. That could be the probable reason. So rather than again trying to find out the and try to do the troubleshooting in the benefit of the time, I try to have another JDK, which is JDK 8. Okay, and let's try to see if this works. Excellent. Everyone able to see this now? Aditya, Raja, Kirti, anyone, any questions on what we did now? Do you want me to summarize what I have discussed or what I have did?
Yes, please.
Cool. So what I did is that, okay, I tried to log into the Unix machine, okay, with whatever the ID I have been given. I have been given an ID called as an Shiva1. So I tried to log into the Unix machine using this particular ID. And before I try to kick off the installation, I know that, okay, we need to validate certain prerequisite. What is the first prerequisite? I have to ensure that on whatever the path I'm trying to run my installer, okay, on whatever the ID through which I'm trying to run the installer, I should have a JDK installed as an environmental variable. In case of a Windows-based operating system yesterday, what we did was we simply set Java space-version and we said echo Java underscore home. So we could see the JDK path over there. So we are very happy. Problem ends there. But the same thing when you're trying to do it on a Unix-based operating system, we observed that the JDK was not present as an environmental variable. When we clicked on which Java previously, I couldn't find the JDK present in the path variable. So which clearly means to say that the Java is not a valid Java that is there on my system. So I have to update that. Okay, I have to ensure that it picks up the right Java path. So for that, what I did is that I downloaded the JDK software. Okay, in my scenario, in my current scenario, the software which I downloaded is the JDK 1.8.x. Okay, then what I did is that once I downloaded it and extracted the file, you can extract it to any path you want. You can put it into the OPT folder, you can put it into the home folder, you can put it into the USR folder, you can put it in any path you want unless until you have a complete admin privileges on that. So I extracted this JDK software on my user home folder, which is home share1 path. Then I edited because unlike the in case of a Windows operating system, how do I try to update the environmental variable? By trying to go to the my computer properties environmental variable. I try to define the environmental variable. In a Unix, there is a dedicated file called as an bash rc or bash profile. So what I did is that I edited the bash profile. Okay, .bash underscore profile. I edited that. Okay, and given the path of where my Java underscore home is there, then I appended that particular path to my path variable. Doing that, it will ensure that the Java underscore home is defined as an environmental variable, and the whatever is the value related to that, you have to append it into the path variable. Exactly the same way you try to do it in a Windows-based operating system, but the name of the file is different here. Anyone, any questions? Raja, was your question answered?
Yes, Shiva.
Kirti, you're clear?
Thank you.
Yes, Shiva.
మాటం ఏం లేదండి. You guys are paying me the fees and coming for the session. Don't think it's a basic question. Don't think it's a small question. Every question is a question, be it be small or big. Okay? Cool. So still, if you have some questions which you don't want to ask in the class, okay, but you want to get that through the email, please do let me know. Okay, I'll be happy to help you even through the email also. And a small confirmation, we'll have a session on the Saturday as well as on the Sunday. It's confirmed. So plan your schedule accordingly. Saturday morning Indian Standard Time, it will be the same time. Saturday evening, depending upon your comfortness, which you will say to me on Saturday morning, we'll have a session on the Saturday evening. Clear? Not clear?
Sunday evening అయితే వద్దండి. Sunday evening have some other plans for me.
No problem. How about a Monday morning? Sorry, Sunday morning.
Sunday morning is fine.
No problem. Well, we can drop for the Sunday evening. I'm okay.
Okay.
Can we do it in this way, otherwise? On Saturday morning and Sunday morning, rather than taking it for evening session also, on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, we'll try to have it for 1.5 hours.
One and
Would
a half
that be
one
okay?
is 7 to 8:30, up to 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
How about Kirti and Aditya?
Yeah, that should be fine. 1.5 hour.
Excellent. Aditya, you're also okay with the schedule?
Yeah, I'm okay, sure, no problem.
Perfect. Vasu, just drop this confirmation on the WhatsApp so that everyone is updated. Excellent. Uh, so we completed the prerequisite. Now the next thing what we have to do is that we have to trigger the installer. Where is my installer present? My installer is present in the root. Okay. My installer is present in the root folder. This is the path where it is being present, and it is being defined with an ID called as in root. Okay, and root is like an admin privileges. Okay, not anyone and everyone will have an admin privileges. Only restricted people will have an admin privileges. My JBoss software which I'm trying to install here is installed as an root with a root user ID. So what should I do now? Okay, the couple of things you need to do. First and most important thing is that since you have to run the installer with an individual ID, let's try to copy this. In your real-time environment, you'll not have an access to the root ID. Okay, you have to contact your Unix admin in this kind of a scenario, or whoever is your operating system admin, and get this issue resolved. Since I'm the admin, since I'm the DB, I'm the everyone in this particular session. So I just try to log in. Cool. Now the software is present. The software doesn't have an executable permissions. How do I know that, Shiva, you don't have an executable permissions on this? If you see on your extreme left hand side, R means read, W means write. So I don't have an execute permissions on this. So let's try to put the execute permissions. Cool. So I have an access to the installer, and I have an admin privileges on the source and the destination path where I want to do the installation. I have a complete permissions to execute or run the software. So now what we have to do, we have to trigger the installation. How we can try to trigger the installation? Java space -r, JBoss -eap -6.4.0, whatever is the name of your installer .jar file. Since it's a Unix based operating system, since by default GUI isn't supported, even though you don't say -console, still the installer will pick the command line or console mode of installation. Clear and not clear? Aditya, Raja, Kirti, first couple of sessions would be a little complicated. Just try to understand. Okay, what I'm trying to do is that I have copied the installer, and I'm trying to cross check whether the installer can be executed or not. It doesn't have an execute permission, so executed a chmod modify permission to update the permission so that I can have a execute permissions capability. Then what I did, okay, the next thing what am I trying to do is that I'm trying to trigger the installer. How I'm trying to trigger the installer? I'm trying to use a command called as in java space -jar, name of the installer. Okay, the moment I trigger this, since my by default when you try to invoke the installation using this particular path, by default it will check for the GUI mode. Since GUI mode is not supported, since GUI mode isn't enabled on my system, it picked up the console mode, which is the next preferred option. So there's no need for you to say -mode equal to console or -console. Clear? Not clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
How about Kirti and Aditya?
Yes, Shiva, it's clear.
Yeah, fine for me.
Perfect. So the moment I trigger the installer, it is saying it is asking me to select the language. I don't know Chinese. DEU is nothing but Dutch. FRA is nothing but French. JPN is nothing but Japanese. POR is nothing but Portuguese. SPA is nothing but Spanish. These are the languages that are currently supported in the JBoss EAP 640. So you can select whatever the language you want. I want to select the language English. What's the numerical corresponding to that? 0. But I could see that 0 is selected by default. Okay, the language call is in the language that represents 0, which is nothing but English, is selected by default. So there's no need for me to, okay, it's not mandatory for you to again give 0 and press enter button. You can directly press enter button. Why? Because 0 option, which represents the English language, which is my preferred language to continue to the installation, I check that. So simply press enter button now. It's saying that, hey, this is the license agreement. Press 1 to continue, 2 to quit and exit out of the installation, and for any reason if you want to again have a redisplay of the license agreement, press 3. I'm 200% okay with the rules and regulations of the license agreement given by the Red Hat people, so I'm pressing 1 to continue. It's saying that I'll try to do the installation in this particular path, home Shiva1 EAP-640. Rather than in this particular path, if you say that no Shiva, I have a preference to install it in the OPT folder, no problem. You can give it the OPT folder and whatever is the subfolder. If you say that Shiva, not here, I want to install it inside the root, this particular path, give this particular path. But whatever the destination path you are trying to give, ensure that you have an admin privileges on that. I don't have an admin privileges on that particular path, but I do have on the admin privileges on the default path that is coming. So I'm 200% okay with this particular path and has been cross-checked with my installation or the change management team. So I'm simply pressing the enter button. Okay. Once you're pressing the enter button saying that, hey, can you confirm 1 to continue and 2 to quit out of the display? I want to confirm, so I'm pressing 1 and then pressing the enter button. So if you see the next option, if you remember on the yesterday session, there were a couple of options that were coming in the gray color and couple of them are coming in the black color. Those are nothing but the required, okay, options. So for any reason, okay, other than the required or the mandatory option, if you want to install any other things, for example, let's say that you want to install the native web server i386 component. This select give the numerical corresponding to that. But if you see the numerical corresponding to that, okay, called as in 15, by default, those are selected. Shiva, how do you know that they are selected by default? There is an X mark coming in the bracket. Now, if I press the X mark, give the numerical 15 in the previous screen, okay, it has been X is coming in the bracket, which means it's selected. Okay. Now, if I want to unselect it, again give the numerical. So here it is selected, here it is unselected. Clear? Not clear. Anyone? Any questions still here? Is it little complicated?
No, it's clear also. Yeah.
Excellent. So once you're verified whatever the components you want to install or not to install, okay, you can continue doing the installation. But remember that the options that are coming as required, you cannot unselect them. You cannot say to the installer that I don't want this, because your installation will be failing, your components will not be working. So once you're done selecting whatever the components you want to install, simply press 0 to confirm your selections. Press enter button and again it will ask us to confirm. So press 1 and to confirm. It's saying that, hey, what is the ID and password you want to create it? If you remember yesterday, the same thing we discussed. This ID and password is the administrative user ID and password called as in root admin, okay, using which whenever you try to log into the admin console or whenever you're trying to interact with the JBoss application server using the CLI, this is the mandatory username and password you need to give it. You can choose any name you want, okay, any password you want, whatever the ID and password you want to choose, or as per your company standard, whatever is the password you want to give it here. I given the ID as admin, okay, which is a default. I'm 200% okay. Let me give the password. Password is admin @1234. You can give any password you want. Once again, confirm the password and press enter. It's saying that, hey, are you okay? Do you want me to continue doing the installation? Yes, I do want to continue the installation. So I'll press numerical 1 and then press the enter button. It's saying that, do you want to install any quick starts? As I said yesterday, my agenda, my basic reason for me to do the installation is to ensure that I do a plain simple installation, no complications, no customization. So I don't want to install any quick starts. But what is the numerical corresponding to that? Okay, 0. But I could see that this option is selected by default. So there's no need for you to do anything. Simply press enter button. It will ask us to confirm. Just confirm that. It's saying that, do you want to use the default ports, okay, or do you want to customize any ports? Okay, if you want to customize, okay, by updating the port offset or customizing the ports, select whatever the options you want. Okay, for example, if you want to offset the ports or if you want to select this particular option, set the numerical corresponding to that. What is that? 1. Okay, now it's asking, how do you want, what is the offset value you want? Oops, I made a mistake. Yeah, the next step is about, it is saying that, okay, what is the server startup mode you want? Okay, do you want to start the server? If you want to start the server, do you want to launch the server in the standalone mode or the domain mode? Depending upon your convenience, select the appropriate option. But I don't want to start any of the server either in the domain mode or a standalone mode, because my basic agenda of triggering the installer is to do a plain simple installation. Clear? So I don't want to start the server, so I have to select the numerical 0, but numerical 0 is selected by default. How do I know that? There is an X attached to that. So simply select that particular value and press the enter button. Again, press 1 to confirm. The next one is about configuring the log levels. Okay, do you want to customize the default logging? Okay, what is the whatever is your requirement related to the customization of the logging levels, choose that particular corresponding option. I don't want to customize the log levels. I'm okay with the default logging, so I don't want to touch anything about the loggings as of now. So I want to choose the option number 1, which is no, but there is an X symbol attached, okay, within the brackets, which means to say that this option is selected by default. So simply press enter and then 1 to continue. Okay, now it's saying that, okay, there are several options available. Do you want to use the default or do you want to use any advanced configuration? My agenda, the moment I was trying to think of doing the installation, my agenda was to do a plain simple installation, no customization, nothing. So I don't want to go with the advanced configuration. I'll just go with the default one. So once I said that, it's triggered the installation. There are 15 packages that gets installed, and it's asking, do you want to create a shortcuts? No, I don't want to have any shortcuts created, so I'm pressing N. It's saying that, would you like to do an automatic installation? Anyone remembers this? What is this option is all about?
generating property file.
What's the use of that particular XML or the property file? What does that XML file contain?
So all the summary of all this installation, right?
What's the use of that?
So you can modify and you can install in different machines by using this automatically install the setups, Java setups.
Okay, let me try to put in a different terminology. Okay, so the moment you say yes, there's a file called as an auto.xml file will be created. Shiva, what is the use of this particular auto.xml file? The use of this particular auto.xml file is that imagine a scenario where you want to trigger the installation in the same way how you did in this particular system. Okay, there's no need for you to again redo the installation in the same way. This auto.xml file, when you create it, okay, whatever the installation, okay, you did, okay, whatever the type of the installation you did on this particular system, all those properties, all those instructions would be copied into the auto.xml file. Then what you can try to do here is that now you can try to take this auto.xml file on whatever is the other system where you want to do a similar kind of installation, similar kind of a setup, run the installer using an option called as an auto.xml file. Automatically the installation will be done. There's no need for you to sit in front of the system and continue doing the installation. Clear? Not clear? Am I
Yeah,
clear
it's
to
clear.
everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, Shiva.
Awesome. So if it's clear, let me continue.
No, one question, see, auto.xml file, just to give me one step, how we can install in another machine by using this auto.xml.
Okay, let me show you that. Oh, I didn't generate the auto.xml file here. Can you pass this question till tomorrow or day after tomorrow? I'll redo
Yeah,
the
man,
installation.
we install in Windows machine, right? We
Yeah,
generated that. We can do that in there.
I removed that installation yesterday after we are done with the session.
Okay, okay, okay.
But definitely give me a reminder tomorrow. I'll definitely quickly redo the installation and I'll show you that auto.xml file. It's just a simple command and option. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Other than that, anyone, any more questions? Cool. Silence, I'll take it as no. Okay. So if you guys don't have any questions, let me continue with my session. So I install the software in this particular path, Shiva1 EAP-640. This is a path where I did the installation, and this is where all my software and its related components are installed. Okay. Anyone, any questions on the installation either on the Windows or on the Unix except Raja Reddy? Cool. So let me try to continue doing my session. So the path where you install your Java, this is called as the path where you install your JBoss application server. We call that one as JBoss home. So anyone says to go to the JBoss home, what they indirectly are trying to say to you is that, okay, they're indirectly asking you to go to the path where the JBoss application server is installed. Generally, in a, at least as per my experience, okay, in case of an you're when you're trying to give your JBoss exam, okay, whenever you're trying to do the exam, the first question that is asked is that, can you try to do the installation of the JBoss application server in this particular path? They'll say that. Once you're done doing the installation, what will happen here is that, okay, it will try to have all the installer and installer related components inside the EAP folder. Okay, for us all the installer related files are copied into this particular files, but in case of a real-time environment, when you trigger the installation using the JBoss software that has been given in the exam, this all these components would be present in another folder called as an EAP folder. Since I removed that particular path, you're not able to see that. But all the files or the folders, at least the majority of the folders, they will be present under that EAP folder. In the exam, they will ask you to run the JBoss application server with the JBoss home as this one, not as this one. Most of the people forget about that. They go to this particular path and then go to the bin folder and simply run the software. That's the first question that will be failed. So remember, the JBoss home is nothing but the path where you install your JBoss application server. So in couple of scenarios, you have to customize the JBoss home from whatever is the going away from the default, whatever is the JBoss home that is being available, you have to customize that. So you have to update the JBoss home. For example, if the JBoss home was initially this one, you need to copy all the installers into this particular path and try to redo the installation. Imagine a scenario where you have the softwares in this particular path. Move the files to this particular path. Automatically, your JBoss home would be set to this particular path. So in an exam that they ask you to run the JBoss home from this particular path, they're indirectly asking you to move all the contents that are there in the subfolder of this into this particular folder, then go to the bin folder, then try to run the corresponding standalone or the domain instance. First and the most important question in the exam if you're trying to give the certification. Clear? Not clear? Are you all getting what I'm trying to say here?
No, a little bit confused. Like, can you please clarify one more time? Like,
No problem. See, the moment I install my JBoss application server, okay, what is happening up? All the binaries are available here. Okay, is it clear till here?
yeah, it's clear.
Okay, in couple of scenarios, since when I'm trying to choose the installation, I choose the path as this one. I chosen this particular path. But in couple of scenarios, couple of these folders like your bin app, applet client, standalone, domain folder, and your modules folder. Okay, these are all will be copied inside another subfolder of this particular folder. For example, okay, in couple of scenarios, what will happen here is that in couple of scenarios, couple of your binary related folders, couple of your domain related folders will be present here. So in the exam, what this says that, hey, can you try to start the standalone instance by having the JBoss home as this one? But ideally, in your current scenario, JBoss home is not this one. JBoss home is this one in a current scenario. But they're not asking you to go to that particular default JBoss home. They're trying to ask you to go to this particular JBoss home directory. So what should you do? You have to come out of this particular directory. Okay, move all the contents that are there inside this to the current folder. Okay, once you're done doing it in that way, go to the bin folder, and whatever is the standalone or the domain instance they ask us to run that particular one. Clear? Not clear?
Yeah, understand that. So ultimately, we need to run the this standalone .sh file in root directory only.
in root directory, but ensure that
But bin
the
folder.
JBoss home is properly defined, because JBoss home is nothing but the path where you install your JBoss application server. Is it clear?
Okay. Yeah, correct.
How about Kirti and Aditya? I'm trying to go as slow as possible because it's being the initial list. Okay, but anything and everything that is not clear, please do let me know. I'll happy to help you all.
Sure. So we installed in this EAP-6.4.0 folder,
ABC
right?
folder.
In Windows environment, we install in the D drive location. D drive
Some
EAP-6
ABC folder.
one ABC folder. So can we entirely copy from that folder and move into this another directory? Can we do?
Okay, I'll show you one thing.
Okay.
If you see here, to run any of the, if you see the executable files in a Windows, cool. Silence, I'll take it as a no. So if you don't have any questions, let me pause the session here for today. We'll try to continue tomorrow talking about the post installation related directory structure. All the best. Bye everyone.